Many thanks for staying with us. Of course, this is still Politics HQ on News Central Television. The movement for the survival of the Ogoni people, MOSOP, is facing a leadership crisis with not one, not two, but three individuals claiming to be the president of the organization. This crisis began after the election of a new executive committee where Legborsi Saro Pyagbara was re-elected as president, but two other individuals, Bara-ara, Kpalap, and Fegalo, Nsuke, also claimed to have emerged as presidents from different election venues. The situation is further complicated by the fact that Kpalap and Nsuke have been sworn in as presidents by different traditional rulers. Kpalap claims to have been elected on December 21st, 2018, while Nsuke says he emerged as president after valid steering an electoral committee conducted elections. To resolve the crisis, a resolution committee has been set up comprising of elders, leaders of thoughts, and past MOSOP presidents. The committee, led by Ledum Mitee, has appealed to all sides to cooperate and refrain from actions that could undermine the peace of the party, of the movement. Now, this leadership crisis is not only a challenge for MOSOP, but also a reflection of the broader struggles faced by the Ogoni people, including environmental degradation, economic exploitation, and political marginalization. Now, joining me on the program at this time to discuss this is Olu Andah Wai-Ogosu. He is the president of MOSOP, and he joins virtually from Rivers. Thank you for your time, sir. Let me start by asking you, what is going on within your movement?
Well, what is going on is what I may describe as a family misunderstanding.
A family misunderstanding. This looks like it has gone beyond a misunderstanding to a crisis of some sort.
Well, I am saying we don't have a crisis in the sense of leadership. The leadership is in place. So the misunderstanding we have is as to certain directions we need to take in certain policies and certain issues that demand quick decisions.
You said the you said the leadership is in place, but from what we are getting, there are three presidents who claim to have been sworn in. Elections conducted different venues. So how is this leadership in place? You can't have two captains steer a ship, but we're having three captains in this context. How is the leadership in place, sir?
Well, if we put the times of election in perspective, in proper perspective, yeah, the other presidents were elected at different times, but the current president, after a decision taken by the entire Ogoni people at a Congress that called for a new election and guidelines to be developed, rules to be followed, which ended up in March of 2024. That was the current election. And that was at the election that I emerged as the current president of MOSOP. So that's what I'm saying. There's no crisis in leadership.
So what are those?
Election and the latest election was an election conducted by an agreement of the entire Ogoni people in a Congress, asking the other presidents to now collapse for a new election to be held. After a peace committee has been set up, after electoral committee has been set up, and this ran through, that was around 2022, 23, which ended up in March of 2024, which election was held and I emerged as the president.
So
the election has been held.
Okay, so these other individuals now, how would you describe them and their position in the party?
Oh, they were previous presidents by an unknown election.
Previous presidents by an unknown election?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go on a quick break. When we return, we would definitely pick up. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. Right now, of course, we are discussing issues around MOSOP. That is a movement that had a leadership crisis, but appears to have been resolved. I have with me on the program President of the movement, Olu Andah Wai-Ogosu. He joins virtually. Thank you for staying with me, sir. Now, let's look at some of the challenges or struggles faced by the Ogoni people. I mean, part of it includes environmental degradation, economic exploitation, and even political marginalization. Let's take this by piecemeal. With you as president now, how do you hope to address these challenges, starting with environmental degradation?
Well, that seems to be the very sensitive and important issue that, if properly resolved, would put in place proper economic situation, empowerment for the people, and when you have a proper economic situation in place, political power or control will not come in place. So for us, the environmental degradation is the major issue that needs real attention. We will understand that this spanned from the 1950s until when Shell was declared persona non grata and exploitation of that resource dropped. But the damage has already been done to the point that surface waters, groundwater, forestry resources, realizing that the Ogoni situation in the Niger Delta is a coastline ethnic group, and therefore the water resources become very, very important in terms of the major occupation of the people, which is fishing. And we have a flat land that adjoins to the coastline, which is also good in terms of agriculture. But the exploitation activities now reduce all these resources, all these environmental resources, to a situation where they are no longer important in terms of sustaining life systems and life forms in the entire ecosystem. So that seems to be the major issue. And we therefore are resolved to ask that before any further exploitation of the black gold will commence in Ogoni land, proper remediation, proper restoration of the damages must be adequately addressed, so that people can go back to the land, and go back to the waters, and go back to the forestry resources.
All right, let's also talk about the issue of political marginalization. This, of course, has been on for several years. We've had strong activists and individuals strongly vocal on this. What do you hope to do differently?
Yeah, it's because of the long years of environmental degradation that led to very weak economic position and standing. So different opinions will arise, different actions to etch a living will arise, and that creates room for manipulation of voices, manipulation of views and opinion, which will reduce your potential strength in competing in politics of the country. Therefore, we now have to start reorientation of our understanding of what politics is supposed to be in Nigerian setting, so that we will start speaking in one voice. Because what the damage to the environment did that reduced the capacity of the human being is it reduced our time, reduced our understanding of how politics is played, and therefore we had no opportunity to be, to speak So what we need to do now is to reorientate, change the mindset and realize that we got to speak as one ethnic group, one people for any issue that affects politics on the land. Yeah, we may have different views, but the result we are looking at is a result that will aggregate our views, a result that will make us identify which position to take on any political issue. And the position we take must be the position that is of benefit to the entire Ogoni people, not of benefit to a few people. So that is a big task, which means we have to re-educate our people, give them the opportunity, to also be heard, improve on engagement, on communication, on conversation, and all that, instead of being atomistic to ourselves.
All right, let's bring it back to the party politics. We know that since, of course, the elections have happened, which you have said has been steadied right now with you emerging as the president of the party, it appears that there might be some crack within the movement, particularly maybe those loyal to those that emerged as presidents, which of course you claimed are unknown in terms of the election process. What are you doing to sort of create cohesion and unity in the movement?
Yeah, what we have started doing is to explain to our people the essence of a common ground, and that the common ground we're looking at is a ground that is of common interest to the Ogoni people. So that requires a lot of reawakening of the consciousness of our people to understand the direction that politics is moving at any point in time, irrespective of the party that is in power. We will look at a voice, a common voice within a party that gives us sufficient room to negotiate for our own benefits, to talk for ourselves, to be able to resolve our problems instead of people outside resolving our problems for us. So that goes with tremendous, communication, tremendous contact, consistent contact, returning to your people to always talk to them about what is current, either in the House of Assembly or in the House of Rep or in the National Assembly. So that consistent communication and discussion with the people must increase, because we have never seen it for quite a while.
Okay.
And that reduces our involvement in real politics. So we are trying to see how representatives, whether from the local government level to the state or national, must always return to their constituencies and explain to them what is currently ongoing in the various houses that they are represented in. That contact, that consistent return to the people and to tell them what is happening is of vital importance. And that, we believe, is a step forward to get people involved.
All right. Well, we would have, of course, loved to dwell on that, but we are really pressed for time. And I think I really need to ask you this question before I let you go, sir. On behalf of the Movement for the Survival of the Ogoni People, MOSOP, and you being the president, what do you make, or what do you have to say as regards the current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and its policies?
Yeah, you see, we recently we all had the support that came from the presidency, accepting our position that the Ogoni people should be heard as a result of past experiences, past neglect, past marginalization, and what have you. He identified with our plight. And that is a plus. And that is what we want to leverage on. We need to leverage on that because he knows the problem of Ogoni people. If we cast our minds back to the Nadeko days, he knows. And for him to now identify with our plight is a plus. So what we need to do as a people is to leverage on that opportunity, see how we can have further conversation with the president to realize where it is pinching us in Ogoni land, to realize how our environment has been destroyed and what needs to be done if that major resource has to be revived. And what needs to be done is what we are asking for an opportunity for any actor coming in there to completely negotiate for accessibility into the place, completely follow the environmental laws of the land, that they have to consult with the host communities where the resources are found, and by extension, consult with the state government in place so that they're going to have all the protection they need to have as a fallout from resuscitation or from the re-entry of oil companies or from getting into start exploiting the resources.
All right,
adequate consent.
All right, I'm afraid we really need to go right now, but thank you so much for your time on the program. Olu Andah Wai-Ogosu is the president of MOSOP, that is the movement for the survival of the Ogoni people. Once again, thank you for your time on the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right. Great. And this is where we draw the curtains on today's episode. In case you missed out, you can catch up on our YouTube platform. That's at News Central TV. You can also choose to follow us on social media. The handle is there on your screen. You can choose to follow me personally at Dakpo, at Digboye. Until I come your way tomorrow, good night.